Hello, Robin, can you hear me? Robin.
Sorry, were you calling me? I didn't hear anything.
Ask Robin, can she hear me? Oh. I can't hear anything, Sarah. I can't hear anything.
Button. Okay. How about that? Now can you hear me on Zoom?
Yes, I can.
You can't read lips. I mean, come on. So, all right, one last thing. What are you grateful for? Give me one more gratitude. Every day we start out with gratitude. Every one of us should have a gratitude right now. Every hand should be Derek.
I am grateful to be a new vendor partner with KWRC.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So we're excited about that. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit too. So everybody, Miss Melody will hunt you down if you have not signed in. So if you have not signed in with your phone, please do that. And here's the reason why we do that is that we actually, KW tracks everything. And do you know that we can actually determine when you attend 2 classes or 2 team meetings a month, you will double what people that do not attend training, you'll double their income. Impressive, right? Well, of course. If you're learning how to do something and you go out and do it, of course you're gonna do that. That makes total sense, right? All right, I need my little clicker. You guys, Raven isn't here today. And so bear with me because I don't know how I'm gonna do this. But we're gonna figure it out because we're smart people, right? Here we go. Let me pull this up here. Ooh, no, wrong one to pull up. This one. There we go. There we go. Now, no, what in the world? Drop this one, get rid of this one, move this down. This one I need up here. There we go. And I don't know why that's so big. So let's get this like this and view slideshow. All right. Yay. Everybody on Zoom, can you see the slideshow?
Yes.
No,
No.
No?
no.
No? All right. Then I need to share that. So new share. Here we go. Boom. Can you see it now?
Nope.
All right, can you see it now? What's the deal? New share. Screen 1. Can y'all see it now?
No.
I can see the audience. Yeah, got it.
Hey. All right, here we go. And are we recording?
Yes.
We are recording,
It says
Mel?
recording and it says live Facebook.
All right, we can do business now, you guys. Okay. Guys. I believe this is, all right, Scott, can you come up here, please? And Scott's gonna help me do team meeting today. Everybody gives Scott a big clap. My better half, so this may be, I might need a new battery. Mel, can you bring up new batteries for me, please? Meredith, come on up here and tell us all about lunch. Everybody give Meredith some love. Thank you. This is twice in a row.
I know, when Jasmine left, I called Melanie and rescheduled in all of her meetings, and I did not realize that I rescheduled them back to back. Faith, I would play a game today.
We have giveaways. What do we have
Yeah,
here?
we have alcohol, everybody's favorite. If you don't drink, I have candy. But to play, I need your business card. So if I don't have it and you want to play. But it's trivia. So pay attention, listening ears. I'll go over it really, really quick if you weren't here last week, and then we'll play. So I work with Residential Inspector of America, or RIA. We've been in business since 1989. Over that time, we've done over 150,000 home inspections. We do 24/7 scheduling. So you can call our scheduling line in the middle of the night if you so choose to do that, and schedule a home inspection. I'm sorry, we offer $100,000 in free warranties. So that includes a 5-year roof leak warranty and 1-year structural warranty, a 90-day mechanical warranty, 90-day mold growth warranty. So if any of those things happen within that time frame, you can call our company and we'll walk your client through the process of filing a claim. We also do free pool inspections as long as you let us know about it beforehand, as well as Saturdays or no extra charge. Let me make sure I covered all my questions. Okay. Oh, we also do, our reports come back within 24 hours and we schedule your appointments within 48. So if you call us, we only say 48 also just because we don't do inspections on Sunday, but usually we can get somebody out to you the next day. All right. Does anybody have any questions before I do my game? All right. Let's see.
We got to do.
Valerie, where are you? All right, what year was RIA founded? Sorry, Valerie.
83.
Good guess, but no. Stephanie,
Okay.
do you know?
No, 89.
There you go. You want alcohol or candy? Vodka, tequila. or
What's the
whiskey?
alcohol?
Vodka.
Okay. All right.
Drink wine.
Next question. Oh, and I have both of those in there because I pulled stuff in front again. David, where are you? What are our hours for scheduling?
24 hours.
That's right. You want alcohol?
Nice.
Sure.
Whiskey or tequila? All right.
An option.
All right. And Scott, how much does it cost to add on a pool inspection?
Oh, gosh.
Can you phone a friend?
Like to go to bridge. Nothing.
There you go. Do you want my last alcohol or do you want candy?
Pardon me?
My last alcohol or candy?
I'll take it.
I'll take the tequila. Wow, we like.
Thank you,
it. We like
guys.
Getting prizes. Thank you, Meredith. Thank you for the lunch. We appreciate that. All right, Kathy and Tammy, why don't you come up here? You guys give our favorite lenders on the planet some things.
Good morning, good morning.
Nice shoes, just saying, both y'all rocking some nice shoes. I know, all shiny over
Done
there.
it, done it. So I am still onward, Tammy is still shelter,
Yes.
but as of tomorrow, we are launching her over to onward. So if you have a client interim for the next, let's say, this week and next week, text us both. And we'll see who handles it and how we handle it, and we'll take care of it. So to shine a light on Derek and his team, We had a lot of conversations with our corporate office and we've got their company approved with our company. So that what we can do for your client, if they need it, they will get approval through them. So we don't have to use the debt to income for their current home, which is huge for some people. So they can make that offer. You know, we again can help them make it as strong as a cash offer. We can get appraisals during due diligence. I even had a situation with Greta where she's got a cash buyer that had a HELOC in process. They were just going to pull out their cash to make their offer good. Well, the company they were with didn't have the HELOC approved yet. So she's trying to make this offer, doesn't have the approval. He's on the beach on vacation. I'm texting him. Derek gets me connected with
Nicole.
Nicole's on the text. We're on the call. Greta's with her, gets the application within an hour. Greta could have made a cash offer. And again, we're not doing the loan, but as we've said, you know, we're going to help you with your clients, even if we're not doing the loan, try to connect with the person that can make it happen. We've saved in the last week, we've saved one file due to appraisal. It was low. Got it. Not only a higher appraisal, underwriting done in a day and closing
It's coming up, yeah.
is coming up. So,
Yeah.
you know, a very quick closing. I had a situation where, with one of the clients, they were about to not put their offer in with the agent. And Bree encouraged them, hey, let's talk to Kathy. We got on the phone. I busted a lot of the myths that the other loan officer had told them, which are a lot of untruths and a lot of uncertainties. We got their application in, we got their contract in and accepted the next day. So kept them in play, got them under contract and done. I'm trying to think the other ones. There were 4 of them.
Hit me.
Yeah, Stephanie's. So again, clients going with their past lender, trying to make offers in. The loan officer had answered some questions that were incorrect. I let them know the correct. Once they went back to the loan officer, she's like, oh, yeah, we can do that. So anyway, Stephanie and I helped get them under contract, or they were under
They
contract.
were already under.
Yeah,
contract. We
get them
switched.
solidified in the contract, get them to moving forward and they'll close. So that was another one. That was one of the 4. So we're there for you. You know, we hope that we get the deal. We want to get them, but even if we can, if it's anything to do with mortgages, y'all just know to reach out. And if we don't know the answer, we're gonna find out the answer. And we're gonna find the truth of the answer, not just a personal opinion on it. Any questions at all? We can help with the bridge loans. We can help, you know, with the up equity. We do combination loans, FHA, VA, jumbo, conventional, USDA when we have to. I do it like that. Tammy's the expert FHA, modular home.
Yes, I am.
She knows how to do that as new construction or not. We had MBS Highway. Some of you got on that call. We actually have that recording. Scott and I met about it yesterday. We can have that again and actually play it. I can come in and play it. So we'll schedule that. It was very informative. Scott, do you have any?
I'm gonna be sharing,
Yeah.
Robin and I were talking about, I'm gonna be
Okay, good.
sharing some of this stuff for listing side.
Yeah, we're gonna regurgitate that just a little bit, but really, I guess what Kathy needs and Kathy and Tammy need y'all to know, who you're in business with matters. Right? Who you're in business with matters. And these 2 ladies care more about you and your business than you have any idea. So I want you to know who we're in business with matters, and having those consulting conversations and having the tools and resources. You guys have no idea the tools and resources that they have to be able to even go to a seller. You can reach out to Kathy or Tammy and say, okay, can you help me with this pricing before I go to see that seller? They actually have the tools and resources for that. So it's not just for the buyers, it's also to help you get more business, because who you're in business with matters. Thank you, guys.
The other thing was on the listing side, we're gonna call the listing agent when your offer goes in. Allie, Greenstein and I had one. I called the listing agent, explained to them our appraiser panel, explained to them local underwriting. She was like, okay, I'm pulling that offer up right now, putting it closer to the top. Number 1, you gave me a call. Number 1, they're pre-underwriting, and you got a local appraiser that's gonna call me. and discuss that appraisal, she said that's huge.
That's a winner for
So
seller.
our
all day long.
appraisal panel, that's the reason I came to Shelter Fairfield, whatever it was 12 years ago, was having that local appraisal panel. Oh, that was the other one. We had a call from Wesleyan. Wesleyan had a problem with appraisal with another lender. I called our guy in Cumming, who's our top appraiser, got them on the phone with Wesleyan. He busted the myth. That appraisal was done by an apprentice. The appraiser that signed off on that little appraiser had never seen the house.
Wow.
Tammy already had the client, got them under contract, got the appraisal ordered within how fast?
We got it done within 2 days.
2 days,
Yeah.
appraisal and hand appraised.
Yeah.
The deal was not lost. So again, getting maybe that right appraiser on the conversation with you if you are having a problem. And it's like I told John, if you can just help her with the consideration value, and if it makes sense that they stay with that other lender, you know, we want what's best for the client. Tammy got them a better rate.
Perfect.
Tammy got them a better rate.
Yeah.
All right, y'all gives them, it gives you that. All right, so, Kern, come on up. Speaking of loans. Okay, do I have this, your answer needs to be yes, Scott. Do I have a dress just like this? I almost wore it today. Did you get it in Florida? Did you get it in Florida?
No, I'm right here.
All right, well, we got the same one. Between it. Okay, sorry.
I don't think about my shoes either on Tuesday now.
I know, look at you.
Got me trained. Good morning, everybody. I'm Kern Schwartz with O'Kelly and Sorahan. So I wanted to talk, I've mentioned this before, but I want to show it to you again, for assumable mortgages and loan assumptions. So these are FHA and VA. I know there's a box for conventional, and I'm not saying that there's not one out there that's assumable, but I've never seen it. So this is where the seller's got an FHA or a VA loan. They are assumable mortgages. The buyer can't just take over the payments. Okay, that's not an assumption that we're talking about today. But there's a process, and you can do a contingency. This works very much like your other financing contingencies in the GAR forms. First thing that's might be a little bit confusing is whether or not the purchase price is going to control, okay, $450 purchase price, or if it's the cash is going to control. So it'll be the outstanding principal balance of the assumed mortgage plus X amount in cash. You can do it either way. And the seller is going to provide that information on the approximate loan balance. A good way to do that is to look at the statement. See if they will share that statement so you can see, you know, what the loan balance is. If you're looking at, you know, a little bit, a 60-day close or something, they may make a couple of payments, that balance may go down. So you need to think about that when you're figuring out if you're going to be cash plus or purchase price. Controlling the seller warrants that there's not a due on sale clause, and thus can be assumed by the buyer. There is technically a due on sale clause, but on FHA and VA, there's a rider in there that's, you know, provides that it can be assumed under certain circumstances, that it's current, so they're not in default, because if they're in default, they will not approve an assumption. And they seller agrees to do all the things to help the buyer, you know, qualify for that loan. And it's going to be the seller that's going to be the one that's first going to have to reach out to their lender to get that ball rolling. Then the financing contingency, just like any other financing contingencies, the buyer has X number of days to apply for the assumption, and X number of, it's contingent for X number of days for them to qualify. And otherwise the buyer can terminate, but just like some of the other financing contingencies, they won't get their earnest money back if they lack sufficient funds to close, have not sold or leased other property unless there's a contingency for that, or they didn't give the lender the information in a timely fashion. Okay, so the key to these is to get right on it and start talking to the lender, because as I said last time, you know, the estimates that we normally get from lenders is 90 days. Now, they've been quicker.
When she says lender, it's not us,
Correct,
who they're making their payment to.
correct.
That
The servicer,
the servicer that they're making payments to has the department to handle this. That client, your seller needs to get with them and understand their process. And then give them the authority to talk to you also.
Scott, you had a
You
question?
said that, if they're in default, that it can be, is there any exception to that?
Not that I'm aware of at this point, but,
They're gonna have to be current to have an assumption.
you can put an appraisal contingency in there. Good question.
Yeah, are all VA and FHA loans assumable? And on the VA loan, is it only assumable by somebody who's eligible for a VA loan, or can anybody?
No, you do not have to be do you know that? You don't have to be a veteran. Now, it can affect if you're doing, that's a deeper conversation. So if you have a listing and it's a veteran, call me and we'll talk about their entitlement and all
So
that.
the veteran can allow a non-veteran to assume their loan, but they're given their eligibility to do that.
Yeah.
So we had a situation, a call where the ex-wife was selling the house and wanted to do the VA assumption. But the VA loan was under that husband's name, so she had to go back and get his approval to do so. Didn't happen.
So because if he assumed it, he would lose his entitlement.
He took ownership of the house, okay, but he's not a veteran. But the mortgage is still in his name under his entitlement, right? He allowed her to do that, but he was not gonna allow someone to assume his loan when she sold the home. Okay,
So like if he has a 500,000 entitlement and this loan's 200, he now only has 300.
Okay, but, so what I'm saying is, if somebody assumes that loan, he loses that portion of his entitlement.
if they're not veterans. Okay.
Now, I also heard that it came up like a year ago, that there are some circumstances where they can get that released, that they can go through the VA and they can release that and get their full entitlement back.
If it's a veteran assuming,
Oh, only if it's a veteran
Yes.
assuming?
correct.
I did not get that from.
Yeah,
Only if it's a veteran assuming it, because then that veteran's gonna take their eligibility and apply to that loan.
yes,
Got it, okay.
yes. And if anybody has a specific one that they're working on or coming down the pike, let me know. I have all kinds of things I can send you about that.
But all FHA and VA loans are assumable?
Yes,
Qualifying us.
qualified.
Qualifying assumable.
What do you mean by
The
qualified?
buyer has to qualify for that mortgage. So just like if they were getting a new loan, they're still gonna have to qualify. So the lender's gonna vet the
And they're
buyer.
only assuming the principal balance. So if the house is now selling for 450 and they owe 200, the loan's only gonna be 200. If the client does not have the difference between the money, we're gonna have to look at a secondary financing option. And when you look at that combination and how high those rates are, sometimes the person will just say, it's not worth it. I'll just buy the house standard FHA or VA. So
Yeah.
again, there's a lot of layers to it to look at, and your seller has to understand, never gonna be a 30-day closing, more than likely 90 days.
Thank you. You're welcome. And then I also would just want to talk, the buyer on this, because they are going to be bringing some cash to close, but they have to provide source of funds, just like in a cash transaction. And then escrows, depending on how it's done, if they set up a new escrow, but if not, if they're transferring amounts in escrow, the buyer's basically going to pay the seller for that, because the seller's already paid that money into the escrow account. So if you've got a buyer that's really tight on their cash to close and you're working the deal, you need to think about that as well, especially this time of year where taxes aren't out, bills aren't out yet, and there's a bunch of money in that escrow account. Okay.
I think this is something that, on assumables, this is, we haven't really seen this. But as interest rates, we're up at around 7%, and you've got some 3% loans out there. So if you're going to go down that road, and for example, if you're prospecting and you see in the tax records that somebody has a low, if they purchased in 2019, 2020, and you can see that they purchased that, then you can pretty much know what that interest rate is. If you're gonna solicit those sellers to say, you have a unique house, would you like to know why your house is so unique? Well, you actually have an assumable loan. Did you know that? And if you're going to take that path of prospecting, you've really got to nail this with Kathy and Kern on exactly what that looks like so that you can communicate that with those sellers.
Yes, and as the market changes, right, if it tightens up for sale, this is a selling point, because I've had lots of people sit at the table on the buyer side that, oh, you had a, they get to talking like, oh, you had a VA loan, oh, I wish I'd have known that. I would have liked to have assumed that loan.
Yeah, and especially if you've got a lot, if how many of you had sellers? I know I asked this a lot, but how many of you have had sellers in the last 3 years during the unicorn years that they are sitting on massive amounts of equity? And yet they sold and they rented. How many sold and rented, right? If you've got people like that, they're waiting because it's like, oh my gosh, 7%. Oh man, we waited too long. If you can be that matchmaker, and they have the funds. They already cashed out that equity. So this could be a really good opportunity. So no, eyes wide open, right?
Right.
Cool. Thank you, everybody. Give some turn some love. All right, I don't think Kelly, Lucinda, are you online? Y'all, Kelly, Lucinda, 210 Home Warranty, they are our preferred alliance partner. Also, Michael Harris with Georgia Natural Gas. Again, KW Roswell is the discount code. Derek, come on up here and take about a minute or two and just do a real snapshot. We are going to need to have a couple of classes on up equity coming up.
Kathy and I've already talked about that.
Awesome. So tell us, you guys, this is Derek White with Up Equity. Great guy. And tell us all about your program.
So for your clients who have a house that they need to sell prior to purchasing a new home, what our program does is enable that client to be able to put an offer on a new home without the need for a home sale contingency to be included with that offer. So they can be much more competitive than they otherwise would be. We have 2 different programs. And so we would, depending on your client's situation, we're going to figure out which program fits them best. One program, we're going to actually buy their home prior to the new home purchase. We're going to buy it in order to free them up to make that purchase. The other home is a little bit more like knock. We're not going to buy the home initially. We're going to put a contract on that home. And then we're going to give them an equity advance that they can use for their down payment, home improvement, staging for the existing home or whatever. In that case, we wouldn't purchase that home unless it didn't sell for 6 months after they bought the new home. Odds are that's not going to happen. But in either case, your client's going to get full market value for the sale of their existing home. That's where we're different than an iBuyer. iBuyer, your client's going to end up losing 10 to 15% of their equity, not to be recovered. With our program, your client, one way or another, is going to get to full market value for the sale of their existing home. That's my summary without going too much into the weeds with you guys.
And you will get into the weeds because we do need to understand this. They are an official partner with us right now. This is, I don't know how long this window of buy before you sell is really going to be something that we should focus on. But for right now, this buy before you sell it's bank, right? You're giving your sellers an opportunity and then it's up to them. You have gotten the conversation started. So,
Robin,
yep, go ahead.
I have used this service and worked with Derek, this is Sissy, and it was a wonderful and easy experience for myself and my clients.
Love that testimony.
Appreciate that.
Scott.
Question.
Yes.
So if I have agents that call on a listing of mine, but their buyers need a contingency, my seller won't accept it, direct the other
Absolutely.
agent to you?
I get those calls all the time.
And do you work directly with people or do buyers have to go through an agent to work with. How do you guys do that? Because like Homeward and Knock,
Yeah.
you have to be a certified agent to do that. How, do you work directly with buyers?
Yeah,
Or do we come out of the picture once you?
it's up to you. The agent who is referring me that client, if they want to be involved in like a three-way call with the client where I'm kind of telling them how the program works, then we'll set it up that way. But I also have agents who just are like, here's a client, take care of them, and then let me know, what the next step is. So it's up to the agent. But I talk to buyers, potential buyers every day, and I do three-way calls with buyers and agents every day. So it's whatever you want.
It kind of goes back to who you're in business with matters, right? He is there for your people, just like Kathy calling them on the beach vacation. Raina.
Where can you do this for the listings?
So around the southeast, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia. And then, altogether, I think there's 20 states that we're operating in, but that's what in Tennessee. I'm probably leaving something, but most of the southeast, right until you get Alabama, anything.
So I
East
can
of-
tell you Derek and his team will be head over heels better than not charges the buyer larger fees, and they give them less bottom line if they buy the house.
Yep.
So just know that if you've worked with not to do a comparison for your buyer.
Better testimonies coming out
Yeah.
with up equity than not. Raina?
What's the cost for the homeowners? If they have a house, they wanna pay cash, but they need to sell it first.
Yeah. You said, what's the cost?
Yeah.
It's 1.9%. That's the convenience fee, and that's factored based off of the higher of the new home purchase price and the list price.
One more?
Yep.
Full disclosure, I used to work for Knox back in the day. Can you tell me if this is an option for FHA and VA buyers or
It is.
conventional only?
No, and that's where the two different programs come in. So one program, we can't do for anything other than conventional, but we have kind of our core original program that we can do with VA and FHA. So we're gonna figure out,
Yeah, most of the iBuyer, power buyers can't do anything that's not conventional.
Yeah.
That's huge.
and that would be the case where we would actually buy that home up front in order to free that client up.
Yeah, FHA says if the buyer paying back their seller rent, there has to be a 6-month waiting period before the FHA.
Yeah, and there's a little more gray area with VA, but it's so gray that it's not worth going down that path and then finding out a week before closing, this doesn't work. And then we're in panic mode. So
So,
we've got them covered either way.
so there are a lot of questions and we could take the whole meeting, and I'm going to say we will put a class on the calendar to do this. Because I've got 3 questions up. It's 11:35. If you guys can ask your questions very quickly, then we'll move on. We will have a class and Derek is going to be here the whole time to talk. So I'm going to take Neha, then I'm going to take Raina, and somebody else had their hand up. And Amiko, go for it, Neha.
How quickly can you purchase the house? Like how,
Yeah.
what's the time frame?
19 days. So
19 days.
The time that your client, technically, not 19 to 21, let's say that. Technically, from the time your client says, okay, I'm moving forward with that up equity, and we've got due diligence we have to do behind the scenes, and that takes up roughly 19 to 21 days with exceptions.
And then the appraisal is also yours. They are,
No, we're
That's the
not
lender.
involved in the
That's the
buy
lender.
side. That's what you got, Kathy will take care of all of that.
All right, Raina.
the numbers were correct. 678, 778.
Oh, it is.
778.
Good catch.
Typo. Nice, Raina.
There was one more.
You mentioned their purchase price has to be higher than their list price.
I'm saying that the convenience fee is, they're calculated based on the higher of the two. The list price or the new home.
If they're selling higher, they can buy down.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, all the time. And I'm gonna,
Remember with them, you still will sell this house. You are still the listing agent on this home. They're not taking that from you.
correct, even if we buy the house on the front end, part of the agreement, and I'll sit down, is that all control of that listing lies with the client and their agent. So even though we're the owner of record, you guys have control of that list.
We would not partner with somebody that we couldn't do that with. Because you are our top priority. So we would not do that.
Well, I wouldn't blame you. I'll hang out after the meeting. You guys have any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Derek, Kathy. Thank you so much. All right, there are a couple of other tools in addition to what you've just heard. These are all linked. Please go there, grab these links. And I'm going to do very fast commercials. We've got some amazing classes coming up. So market the masterminds 8:30 to 9. We've got Ann Scoggins doing live lead generation between 11 and 1 Wednesdays and Thursdays. Facebook leads today with Sam Jackson. From 1 to 2:30 today. If you want to learn how to do Facebook leads for $1, you got to meet with that. Come in and see how Sam does that. We've got a 10 to win class series, and Marie Burgess is teaching from leads to appointments. How many of you get leads, but you're having a hard time setting appointments because they just want to, oh, I'm just looking. We're going to talk a little bit about that. That's coming up tomorrow. Brett Tanner is tonight or tomorrow night, 11 to 4 tomorrow. If you still want to go, there are still some tickets left. Tickets are $199. You will learn more about how to build wealth in these 3 to 4 hours than you ever have. This is the class to go to. It's worth your $199.
Ticket prices have been sliced, they're now $99.
$99. Oh my gosh, you guys should scan that and get there because this is phenomenal. Thank you to McMichael and Gray for bringing them in. 10 to win, we've got open houses on Thursday. And we've got on Thursday, 1 to 2, Aubrey is going to host a real estate agent roundtable. We've got David Nations and Dan Grieve. Dan Grieve was awesome. He was the one who helped was it Down syndrome? Do you remember? Wasn't it Down syndrome? And the young man wanted to do the Ironman, and Dan Grieve trained him, and that young man accomplished the Ironman. And when we saw that video at Family Reunion or Mega Camp, it was phenomenal. Dan Grieve is an amazing human being. So that's going to be really cool to go to. Tech Orientation Friday. We've got Conversations and Motivation Friday morning. That's your new agent boot camp. And we've got Career Visioning. How many of you are hiring to your team? Anybody hiring to your team? Okay, Career Visioning. It's going to be at North Atlanta office on 9 to 4, September 29th. Gene Rivers is coming in for that. So that's going to be really, really amazing. Do not call. You guys are going to be hearing this every single week. Lee sends out the list of the do not call list. Please check it. Don't get fined. Don't get fined. Check that do not call list. ABADs, Affiliated Business Association disclosures. You guys get them signed. When? When do you get them signed?
Before contract.
Correct. Okay, Scott, come on up here. I have my, needs to be updated. It was updated. Thanks, Raven. So Raven gives me these little notes on the slides, like this one should be updated. So this is what's really cool. Mid-July, first, second week of July, we hit the 9,000s. Finally, we hit the 9,000s. Anybody remember what it was in August 2019? Give me a good guess, Pam.
Oh, golly, I had August 2019.
2019. Anybody? Yes.
11,000.
Was you?
Nope. You said 11, you said 20?
Around 13.
13,000. 13,000. 12 to 13,000. So we're getting back. Inventory is breaking loose. Well done. Well done. Interest rate 7. Around 7, that's no points. So we're not doing too bad here. I'm really excited about this. We'd love for this to come down. These are your talking points. So average days on market, 33 days. Average sales price of homes, 465. Distressed sales are still only 6%. So when somebody says, how's the market?
0.6%, less than 1%.
Yes, 0.6%, less than 1%. Thank you. All right. So what do I say every week? Your sellers are listening to the talking heads. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. The market is so bad. Well, you know what? If you compare this market to 2 years ago, it is bad. But was 2020, in 2021, in 2022. I love that Keeping Current Matters owner calls them the unicorn years. Did you hear that? I love it.
They are.
It's called, they are. We'll never see that again. We will never see that again, probably for another 50 to 100 years. I don't know.
We'll never have.
Hopefully we'll never have, something like that again. So, what happens is when we go before the seller says, well, I'm watching the news and the news is telling me that we're heading in for a recession and this, and the housing market is doing bad and we're gonna crash and blah, 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 blah. So what do we do when you are talking with people? How do you combat that? Do you have time to do all of that research? Right? You don't. That's why we give you the daily stats every day. That's why we talk about it every team meeting, so that you can be the market expert, so that you can actually have intelligent conversations with sellers. So Kathy's Onward brought in, what's his name?
Habib.
Barry Habib.
Habib.
And Scott attended that. I'm going to turn this over to Scott because this is what your clients are hearing. And we want to equip you with what you should be telling them so you can get that listing and get that buyer under contract, because misunderstandings are just that, they're myths, right? So we want to tell the truth. All right, Scott. Oh, wait. I've got a giveaway. I forgot my giveaway. So sorry.
Robin had a lot of coffee this morning.
I actually haven't. I probably need some more. All right. Who wants it? Okay, and if you've already read it, I still want you to do it. What do you do if you already have one and you get the correct answer? You give it away. Okay, so what percentage of the American home ownership, what is the percentage of home ownership in the United States today, or as of 2022?
51.
Nope.
68.
Okay, we got a 68% here.
48%.
48,
51.
42,
65.
65%. 65%. Well done. Give it away. We're gonna cover that in a few minutes. We're gonna go over that in a few minutes. So I give.
My sling is.
Your sling is good, babe. You're looking at, okay, let's get you a little trade. Y'all, my better half.
So one of the things, this is just, I'm just going to go over a portion of what Barry went over that deals with perception. Because perception is a huge problem that we have to overcome with people, because there are too many points of view out there. And we need to show people that we're the market expert. And so we got a bunch of slides that can help you show the people what's really going on. So this is, what's her first name?
This is Diana Oleg.
Diana Oleg on CNBC. And he was going through, now this guy, Barry Habib, is a monster when it comes to real estate and real estate predictions. And he's been in the field for at least 30 years, because he was in mortgages for 30 years. And he's got his own company now, MBS Highway. And so he goes through to point out what our clients are hearing when they're listening to talking heads. And she's a great example of fear mongering. So Diana Oleg in 2015 he's starting out at 2015 and showing you by using the average, appreciation throughout the years, showing you what's really going on compared to what some of these talking heads are saying. So if you bought a house for $400,000 in 2015, you'd hear her say that housing today is a bubble larger than 2006. So in 2015, there's a bubble coming, bad idea, don't mess with real estate. Well, real estate went up 5% that year, which made that $400,000 house now worth $420,000. So she got it wrong, but let's see how she does in 2016. Oh, we're in a new housing bubble. Things are gonna go bad. It's all going bad. You probably shouldn't buy because we're on a bubble and prices are about to drop. Prices went up again 5% that year in 2016. So now you're up, that house would be worth 441. 2017, homeownership doesn't build wealth. That's her statement and what she's telling.
This is on a national news, national
CNBC
news.
business, right? So prices go up 6% in 2017. So 2018, it's better to rent than buy in today's housing market. How many people have you had like, oh yeah, it's so much smarter to pay the mortgage for somebody else. And what happens in 2018? We go up another 5%. 2019, the housing market is about to shift in a bad way for buyers. And sure enough, she's right. They only went up 4% instead of 5%. So 2019, next year will be hard on the housing market, especially in big cities. And while she was close, she was only off by 10% plus. So 2021, she says the housing boom is over as new home sales fall to pandemic low. And we saw a 19% increase that year. Then 2022, why the housing market is in increasingly big trouble. And it went up another 6%. So for all those people lucky enough to not purchase in 2015, listening to her sage wisdom, they lost out on $308,000 in equity. This set of slides is great. You can just take these when the slides go out, take them, recreate it to your own if you want, but all the slides are there and all the data is there. And use this to show people that you cannot listen to talking heads. You have to listen to the market experts who are us. We are the market experts, not these people talking heads, because negative news sells. That gets people to tune in and watch. Oh my gosh, what's happening? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Good news doesn't sell.
Make sure that you source, if you're going to repost these, make sure you source. That's from MBS Highway. That's the right thing to do, right?
Even if you recreate, yeah.
Yes.
Even if you recreate it into your own graphics or whatever.
Can we search MBS Highway and then CNBC?
Well, yeah, if you want to, put
Yeah,
her,
because it's kind of-
Diana Olick and, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I wouldn't tag her unless I found the references for each one of those personally.
Yeah.
But because, people will say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like,
Right.
okay, well, this is who said it. So
Okay,
you can go
right.
back and.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. Source it.
Yeah. So here's another slide that
You
is
can look at those right there so that you don't have your back toward everybody.
another fantastic slide to point out how housing prices continue to go up. Real estate is excellent. What are these black bars? Recession. We've had 9 recessions since 1960. 9 recessions.
3 years.
How many times, 63 years, how many times have prices gone down?
Once,
Well, there's.
And why is that?
Until we get there,
because it was due to the
and
housing
then
market.
where is that? That's right. That was the bust.
But
Look
that's
at,
the most
look at the
recent.
track.
But that was not due to the recession. That was due to a banking crisis.
Correct,
Yes.
correct.
Yes.
So this
It's been
is,
proven that every year in a recession that housing prices have gone up.
That's right.
so this is a fantastic slide to show people that you can trust buying in real estate, that real estate is smart, a smart buy. Here's another great chart that you can show somebody. You can recreate this yourself. but showing since 1973, or no, I'm sorry, 1941 until till last year through 2022, 73 years out of 81 years, 73 years, prices have increased. We've had 7 years where prices went backwards, which were 90, and then 91 did not change, so they count that as a down because it stayed down, and then it went back up. So you only had 7 years where prices went backwards, and 1 year there where, well, actually 2 years where it stayed at zero. Another great chart to show how much home prices continue to climb.
We know the banking industry was not 207, but what was the 1990, what was that from?
Oil prices.
Well, and 91 was the first war.
First World War, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there was
1970
also-
was the oil crisis, 1990 was the Persian Gulf War. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So this is.
This,
a
I saw
great-
your comment on there, median, finally, your comment about median prices, I'm like, go Pam.
Yeah, finally, people are saying this because I've been saying this for a while. Talking about median home prices, and what they say in the news, it's worthless to talk about what the median home price is, because that's what talking heads are doing. And it's very deceiving because the median, the average is add all these together, divide by 5, that's the average. Median is which one is in the middle. So you take 5 homes in 2022 that are worth all these different prices right here. Then you add 6% appreciation from 2022 to 2023. This is now worth 159, that's worth 238, 287, and so forth. Now, if you take the median home price, but only these 3 homes sold, right? Not all of these, but the group of homes that sold were only from 159 to 286. Now your median price is 238, which somebody, a talking head will say, oh, the median home price in 2022 was 270,000. Home prices have dropped, and now the median home price is only 238,000. That is not true. It is true, that is what the median price is, but that's not reflecting the appreciation in home values.
It doesn't take the whole picture. It does not bring in all the
It's a very
data.
deceiving number. Median home prices and using median is great for a lot of things, but for home prices, it's no good. It's only good when when the numbers are talking over decades. You have to have volumes and a huge volume of numbers in order for median to work correctly. On short term, median does not work. You don't want to use median. And that's what a lot of the talking heads do, and a lot of headlines are based off median home prices, which are why they're saying they go down. You add in $1 million home and all of a sudden the median home price shoots up. Now the median home price shoots up to 286.
Well, if you added in one, it would be the average of those two.
Right.
Right.
So it's very deceiving. You don't want to use median home price. And you want to be able to explain this to your clients too, when they're talking about or fears that their homes are losing price, which this shows that this says that the actual appreciation was 6%. Across the board, the appreciation was 6%. But if you use an example where the group of homes that you're drawing from is lower price point, then in this case, it showed that the median home price dropped 12%. And it didn't, the price went up. That's an 18% difference from a -12 to a +6. So you have to be really careful and watch your numbers, understand your numbers. So here's another fantastic slide to show. In the amount of appreciation, this is the loan to value. Back in 2008, 81% of your home value was in your mortgage. You only had the average home only had 19% equity. And over the years, because after the crash, we learned better, we got down to only 73, 62, down to in 2022, the average home, only 42% of your home is mortgaged. You have 58% of the home value is in equity. A lot of these people that are sitting on their homes have equity, a lot more equity than they may know. And we need to know that. And so on average, it's 231,000, but the cash out amount is actually 185,000. But a great slide and great for you to know that there's so much, there still is a ton of equity out there that people can use for purchasing and using up equity.
There you go.
I bet you like this slide. You love this slide.
We'll make sure you get that, Derek.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and the other thing about this is something that we will cover next week is that when you look at the number at 42% and you have people saying, no, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up a low interest rate because it's going to cost me more money. One of the things that we're going to cover next week that Scott and I will cover is the debt to income ratio and exactly how many Americans are carrying some extreme debt. And what happens if you pay that debt down and you go ahead and get a new home, you'll see that it actually is more affordable for them to pay that debt down than it is to leave the debt in place. That is a conversation that Kathy has with everybody, even your sellers. If you've got sellers who are like, I would sell, but I don't like that 7%, then this is a conversation to be able to show them and show these last couple of slides and have that conversation and send them over to Kathy or Tammy and say, I know that it seems scary to go from a 3% loan to a 6% or 7%, but I want to really help you understand that difference may only be $200 to leave a $400,000 home to an $800,000 home. If you pay off all of this debt, your mortgage is only $200 difference.
Kathy helped my clients do that recently.
Perfect. So this is why, you guys, this is why when we give data, it's not just for you to have the data for you, it's for you to translate those to your buyers and sellers and in open houses and things like that. We are connectors, we're problem solvers. So as you're looking at these slides, be thinking about those conversations that you can have.
It's not just paying off debt, it may even be just the opportunity to put 100, 200,000 in a savings account, you know, for.
To cover that difference. Yes.
Yeah, just to have the cash availability, sometimes that's the answer.
Yeah.
And not only Kathy, but Tammy can help too.
Yes, Michelle.
So one thing I think we can do with these excellent slides, we can accompany that with true life stories when we're talking, because it'll bring it into perspective for our clients. For example, I'm listing a house in a week. I sold it to them. This has been a repeat buyer or a seller. I sold it to them years ago for $154,000. I will be listing that house for $525,000.
Sweet.
And that's like a real life scenario. And I might even be a little under where they need to be because they did renovation in the house. They did, they painted, they took advice and went ahead and did that wonderful white painting like Alpharetta's doing, and brighten the whole house up, you know, those kind of things I think people really relate to. And the other thing that we can also tell people, you know, my first house that I bought was 8%. My parents' first house was 18%. So we're in a market now that's still really exciting.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that scary for anybody.
Yeah. Well, we've shown the slide before of interest rates from April of 73 all the way through, and your mom must have bought in 1981 because that was when interest rates were 18%. We bought our first house in 83 and rates were still around 16%.
They bought it in Reagan years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the story yourself, if you're a newer agent and you don't have that story, borrow Michelle's story, borrow Kathy Ray's story, right? Borrow the stories and say, may I share a story with you that one of my colleagues just experienced, right?
Oh,
Okay.
also, as far as mortgages, something else to keep in mind when we're talking about 3%. First of all, only 67%, according to the studies, only 67% of the homes in the US have mortgages on them.
65.5. Next slide. Next slide.
She just out statistic.
I did. 65.8.
63% of those homeowners have
You
mortgages.
said 68.
I said
Sorry.
67. But anyway, only 20, you stole this from me. You took this. I was only 23% of those that have mortgages have 3% mortgages. So the most of the mortgages out there aren't that low. So don't be afraid thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to have this conversation because what if they have a 3% loan? Chances are there aren't that many out there actually, when you look at the percentage.
Yeah, so switch over to the next one, and we're gonna play with this just a little bit because, you know how we've always I like to role play. I want you to turn to your neighbor and we're gonna role play this. And I want to set up the scenario for you because, and you can set up your own scenario with your neighbor. We're gonna take about 5 minutes and we're gonna go through these talking points and you're gonna role play that as if you're in front of a seller or you're in front of a buyer. Right, so I want you to really pay attention. We're going to leave this slide up because in the last 63 years, there've been 9 recessions. We just learned that, right? There've been 9 recessions. Most Americans don't know that. The only recession where values didn't appreciate, as Dan pointed out, is a housing crisis, which caused the recession. The housing crisis in the banking industry. 65.8% of Americans own their own homes nationwide. 58.4% are owner occupied. 63% of the homeowners have mortgages. Is that surprising to you? I figured it'd be a little bit higher. 23% of the mortgages are 3% interest or less. Ignore the median price conversation. Expose default headlines. Connect your sellers to our lenders to have the debt to income ratio conversation and savings conversation and potentially save dollars by paying off debt and still sizing up. Local information. 64% of Georgia residents are homeowners. 64%. We're a little bit below the national average. This is where these stats came from. Except for the 23% that came from Mr. Habib. Okay, so what I want you to do is turn to your neighbor, set up this scenario. You're either going to talk to a buyer or seller, whatever your needs are right now. I want you to go through these talking points. I want you to go through these talking points. Yeah. Yes, that's exactly right. I didn't have it, I had it on mute. Thank you. That's exactly right. Going to their motivation. And that means you've got to take the time to get to know them, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right, anybody else? Give me your thoughts on this. Meredith.
I'm not in real estate, so I don't know what was going on, but I felt like very reassured, like I just made up the scenario, but I felt very reassured and like she knew what she was talking about and I was getting answered, even though, you know, I mean, I don't actually own a house and I'm not actually buying one, but still. Yeah, I thought it was good.
You just said that in a room full of realtors. Here's my house. All right. We've already got bribery going on here. Already got. All right, yeah. That's right. All right, so how do we sum all of this up, you guys? Again, Sam is right. You've got to have the right data. Use these slides to provoke conversation. Use them. Use this. This is in an open house. If you've ever done an open house with that man right there, there are slides everywhere. He's got stuff laminated. He's got charts. He has everything. And because that's the language that he speaks. But here's the deal. Even in open houses, you're just educating people. This is an opportunity to just start educating them. You don't know their motivation yet, but now is the time to educate them and show that you truly are the market expert. Why would they go down the road and want to work with an agent that's doing the open house? Hi, thank you for coming in, versus, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. This is what CNBC just said. Hey, I want to let you know what the truth. Now, who are they going to use first? They're going to use one, right? Instead of the mousy mouse that is so afraid to do anything. Educate, constantly educate, constantly educate. All right, Sam, what you got for us today? Stan, tell us about this class that you got coming up. I think it's exciting.
That's really fast. Just text me. It's like, I'm teaching today. I didn't realize it's August 1st already. Holy cow. Where did this year go? Yeah, so teaching class today, Facebook leads for a buck. This is one of my favorite classes to teach. And this will probably be the last time I teach it because we're getting some really exciting overhauls inside of Command. So this is the time of year that I actually feel like I have value because the closer we get to Mega Camp and Pim Reunion, there's new tools for us to play with. So last Wednesday, I was fortunate to sit on some advanced training in preparation of this new tool. KW is completely redoing our campaigns, which is like our advertising feature inside of Command. And what's cool is they've increased, they really like doubled down on their partnership with Meta. So I can't even just say Facebook anymore. So we're gonna see some really cool advertisement vehicles for both like Facebook, Instagram, and some of the other Meta products that are coming out. There's hints that there may be actual TikTok advertising in the future with this tool, but not yet. But what I'm really, really excited about is we're gonna have Google Ads back inside of Command and to make them even easier. Everything's gonna be AI generated.
Wow.
I looked at Seeking for a second. Yeah, so what this means is basically I'm gonna be able to go into Command. I'm gonna say, hey, I want to target seller or listing leads specifically in Roswell. Here's my budget, go. And that's all I have to do. Wow.
And they'll create the ad.
They'll do everything else for it. Not say everything, there may be some stuff we have to do, but like it's gonna be pretty stinking simple. I can't wait to demo. Like I got the chance to like see it. I can't wait to get my hands on it, but they said that's gonna be delivered in about 3 weeks. So I think it's second week I'm back from Mega Campus with one of those things that's live. Now I get to be a beta tester all the time because I'm a labs advisor. This was not a beta test. This was like a, hey, get ready for training type of situation. So like this product's ready to go. I imagine there's not gonna be a delay with that one. So we're gonna have like AI driven advertisements in like a matter of weeks. So I'm super pumped about that.
Ooh, that's gonna be powerful.
Yeah, it's gonna be game changing. So today, come learn the last time on how to do Facebook ads the old way before this gets super easy. But yeah, you can have a feather in your cap. Got a couple seconds or minutes?
You have.
Okay. Now some of you attended my lead gen like a millionaire class a couple weeks ago. Okay, I need you to sit there for a second because I'm gonna repeat a little bit of material from that one. Okay. Who here knows the proper way to load a dishwasher? Let's have some controversy here. You put Scott's hand down, yes. All right, who thinks they have the best way to load a dishwasher? All right, let's hear it. Whoever's brave enough to say their method of loading a dishwasher.
Well, it depends on,
More than half.
see, here's the issue. There are different dishwashers with different trays, like we have a 3-tray one with just silverware. And there's a proper way, the spoons and forks go on the right, the knives go on the left, spoons and forks don't go on the left. They only go on the right.
Sorry, Robin.
Now, you start with the bowls to the right and everything faces the right.
I know, I'm not gonna throw some more fuel in the fire, that's okay. All right, so here's Scott, I'm throwing more fuel your way.
Scott, feel the fire.
Scott, Scott, you strike me as the type of person that basically washes his dish before he puts it inside the dishwasher as well?
Now it's just rinse, but I used to.
Scott, what's your method of taking dishwasher or dishes out of the dishwasher? Is there a method to that madness? as well?
Yes.
Okay. All right, who thinks they have a better dishwasher system than Scott? Yeah.
No one.
Italian men don't know how to use them.
Interesting. I may have another analogy there, but we're not gonna touch that one today.
My husband, who's Italian, doesn't know how to.
You turn
All
the
right.
plates away from you and start stacking on the farthest side and work your way back towards yourself.
Okay, who agrees with that? All right, okay, let's have more fun. Let's have more fun. Who just disagrees with Scott just for the sake of disagreeing with Scott?
No.
Okay. All right, why the heck are we talking about
Taking
dishwashers?
notes, taking notes.
So the reason I bring this up is that agents come to me all the time and say, hey, Sam, I want to learn command. Can you teach me everything about databases? Yeah, there's a well, bait and switch. And the best analogy I can come up with is that, like, I think if all of us were to go through here, if we had a dishwasher inside the office, we could go through and say, like, all right, this is how I load a dishwasher, and this is the way that I think is the best way to do this. Your database is the exact same way. There is no right or wrong way to load your dishwasher, other than the way that's going to work for you. Now, for me, I personally think I do have the best system. Right? I actually have it organized in which way that, like, I know that whenever it's time to pull the silverware out, like, my spoons are in the spoon spot, the forks in the fork spot. If you touch this that are out, like, we have a problem, right? But it all starts with, number one, we have to pre-rinse our data, right? Like, if I put crappy dishes inside of my dishwasher, what happens when they come out? Same thing with your stinking database, right? Like, if I have like crusty salsa on my bowl and it goes in the dishwasher, it comes out with like a weird crusted onion or tomato on it, right? Like, you don't want that in your database. So like the best results you're gonna get is like that cleanup that you do before you put it in there, right? And then it's gonna be up to you on how do I sort it, how to put it out, and then the same thing of like how I organize it actually helps me on the back end of like when I'm actually ready to get business, I can make that call and say like, all right, I know where my spoons are, right? Scott.
I have a dishwasher that you put them in dirty.
Give it.
In your database.
Next, Sam, continue.
So here's the thing. You can run a business with a dirty dishwasher, but will it be as best as what you want it to be? Right? Is it going to help you achieve those goals? Are you going to be an MRE agent with a crusty dishwasher? Probably not. So I just want you to consider of like, hey, you can only get so far with your methods, but your methods are going to work for you. I'm not going to stand here on a platform and say like, hey, you got to do this one way. I really want to empower all of you to like the best system you have, the system you're going to use. I'm here to help you find some other tweaks and adjustments, but like, gosh darn, just load the dishwasher. All right. Cool.
I love it. Everybody give a big peek. My God, just load the dishwasher. Love it. Diana, you had one question.
Do we think, at Mega Camper, soon they're gonna announce maybe they're gonna have an estimate type thing on our website for home values?
Well, I can think of how she said this, because it was really fun. In a week. Now, she said if you come back to me next week and say that I say a week, that's still accurate. I think we're gonna have new websites, a lot of new features before Mega Camp.
With home values maybe attached?
They're being very secretive. I'm pretty sure this is a thing like they're sandbagging for the big excitement of Mega Camp. I think we really said at the time. I was on a labs call yesterday and they were saying like, basically don't talk to us about website because everything can be revamped, including, I know that's the event for like our version, that's gonna be like number one priority. They also talked about like revamping, essentially creating like open house landing pages and assignment pages and all these other things that you can use in the field are gonna be part of the new sites.
Like Rivet too?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's what I want.
Yeah, so
And like home bots and.
all kinds of crazy things. So unfortunately, I wasn't on that particular lab to test it, so I don't have any like true insights, but I think that's the thing that we've been focused on for mega camp, and that honestly, that's where all the money and attention's been as far as
And
KW
this is
goes.
to send that to our clients who want it.
Yeah, our agents in particular, yeah, so I'll have more training and some more feedback on it.
So that's really gonna bring some cohesion into the tools.
Yeah.
To our tool set. So, all right, so here we go. We're gonna finish up real quick because pizza has been delivered. It was late, so just a reminder, we do have a listing contest going on. It goes until August 31st. These are the giveaways. These are the rules. Everything is in this slide deck that will be sent out to you. And then last, because I know you guys are hungry, inspiration for the week. Worse than missing the goal is never taking the shots. Right? How many agree with that? Yeah. All right. Thank you for your time. Next week, we're going to go into we're going to talk about debt to income ratios. We're going to get more into the buyer side of those stats. And so come in, get ready to learn, and we'll see you next week. Go get your pizza.